What's up, you guys? Welcome to the March 4th edition of NBA 3-Ball, presented by Established to Run. I'm your host, Mike Gallagher, getting ready to break down a wacky, wild Wednesday. A lot of injury news today to cover. It was fun. But yeah, let's hit with the news here in this 10-minute joint first. Hit us with a thumbs up and subscribe, please. And not going to do much news, but let's hit the Clippers with Kawhi Leonard had that back injury that made him a late scratch against the Celtics. He's questionable, and then Marcus Morris was concussed. He's doubtful. You could assume he's pretty much out. So without those two, if Kawhi can't go, you would see a lot more of Terrence Mann. Obviously, Reggie Jackson coming off a season high, he would benefit quite a bit. Lou Williams, and then Paul George would be real chalky. He was awesome last year without Kawhi, so you would see him step up to probably be one of the best plays of the day. Let's get to the basketball stuff, and let's start with the craziest line of the day, the month, the year, like ever. TJ McConnell, first player ever with a triple-double with steals off the bench, 11th ever total, and then first player to do it making all of his field goals. 8 of 8, 13 assists, 16 points, 10 steals, 9 of them in the first half. He was racking up. He had like 5 in his first 4 or 5 minutes. It was just ridiculous how they weren't even looking at him. It was just awesome. But yeah, props TJ, league leader in steals now, been insanely valuable, and he's going to find playing time. He's really good. Brogdon played well. Sabonis had an ankle injury, but he was out there. They play back-to-back, so keep an eye on that. Certainly playing 38 minutes, you would think he's okay. It's a left ankle soreness, but this is the same left foot that has the plantar fasciitis from December. Just keep an eye on it. It should be okay, though. Cavs get the loss, and also an injury. Darius Garland strained his groin. Well, hopefully he's okay after the break. And Dean Wade's been great. You got to expect Larry Nance to come back pretty soon. Kevin Love also, but he's certainly very likely to get traded, you would think. Awesome game in the 2-1-5 as the Sixers beat the Jazz. Embiid just bodied Rudy Gobert all night. Drops a 40 and 19 on him. He's just so freaking good. Like, definitely MVP caliber stuff from him. Tobias returned, looked fine. He was close to playing the last one. Was never really much concern. No structural damage, so he'll certainly be in good shape. Pistons make some history here as without Jeremy Grant, without Josh Jackson, and Dennis Smith Jr. and Mason Plumlee go off for triple doubles as teammates. Second time in franchise history that's happened. Shout out if you know who Donnie Butcher and Ray Scott are. Speed played great, 37 minutes. Yeah, you got to assume Grant with the quad contusion or sore calf, depending what Casey says. He may be back, so can't really read too much into that. But, I mean, DSJ's been great. But like I said yesterday, Killian Hayes on the comeback trail. So his outlook's not great. Same with Saban Lee, who played great. Raptors extremely shorthanded. No Fred VanVleet, no OG, no Pascal. Other role players out as well. So we saw Yuta in the starting lineup. Only played 11 minutes because Paul Watson had a couple spot garbage time power forward minutes. He was the top power forward guy today, which is kind of crazy. Didn't do anything with that playing time. Neither did Stanley Johnson. You didn't either. But yeah, Norm was really the only guy that was truly awesome. 36 points from him. Boucher was able to get there if you played him. Was pretty solid in 25 minutes. But other than that, not too much going on. Terrence Davis is not good. James Harden back in Houston gets his revenge in a win. Triple-double, 29, 10, and 14. 41 minutes. Is out there when the game is pretty much over. No surprises there. He's James Harden. He's really good. And then the Alchemist, a.k.a. Daddy Claxton. Nick Claxton, man. 16 and 8, 7 of 8 from the field. He's awesome. He needs to play. When Jeff Green comes back, he has a nerve issue too, so they got to find him playing time, man. KD and Jeff Green certainly could make him get squeezed, but he's a guy that has been great. If he can find that 15, 16, 17-minute window, he'll have some value, and maybe he cuts into DeAndre Jordan a little bit or some other way, but he's been so fun. Rockets just get smacked again. I mean, this is like every night it feels like they just can't win any games. John Wall and Depot, great stat lines, but Justin Patton actually was pretty good off the bench for 27 minutes. But yeah, I mean, this team has to do something. After the game, Steven Silas says, I'm a problem solver at heart, and we got problems. He is not exactly the wolf. He can't just call somebody to fix this because they got the trade deadline coming up. Just tank it, man. We'll see Kevin Porter Jr. come up, play the backup point, play some two a little bit. So a guy I got my eye on in the second half. Wolves just get totally smacked again. After the game, Chris Finch said tonight's performance was completely unacceptable. Just nothing's going the way he wanted it to. He wanted Anthony Edwards to have a 2/3 drive to jumper ratio. It's not that. It's like reversed. Cat's not getting the ball enough from the big man whisperer here. That's a tough scene. Jaden McDaniels hasn't really been doing much. Just been lost all of his luster. Jared Vanderbilt's not doing anything. Jake Layman is starting because they need shooting so bad. I mean, just this is bad. I mean, honestly, like Cat, like is he gonna demand a trade? This seems just not cool. And it's annoying. Like we like to target bad teams for fantasy ads, but this team's actually too bad right now. Hornets do get Gordon Hayward back. Looked really good. 23 points, 9 assists, 5 steals. It's the Wolves. He was a really sneaky play at 7-1 on FanDuel. If you played him, nicely done. Did get bad news. PJ Washington sprained his ankle. Break coming up. Just an ankle sprain. I mean, you think a week's probably good enough to get him right. We'll see what happens with that. Malik Monk certainly is going to take a big hit with Hayward back, and also Devontae Graham expected to return after the break. I think it's going to be kind of split. I wouldn't be really pumped about Devontae Graham's post-break outlook because, I mean, Monk's just a more talented player. Big win for the Bulls. Zach LaVine has the Pelicans number. Even Kobe White, they had when they both hit those 8+ 3-pointers the last time they played them. They both played pretty well. LaVine's awesome, man. I mean, there's no denying how much of a step he's taken forward this year. With 8 assists too, 36 points, scoring 35, pretty regularly now. And also Patrick Williams, pretty good defensively too overall. So he's, doesn't really get the love. I don't think he's in the Rising Stars game, which makes zero sense compared to some of the scrubs like Kevon Looney's backup and other guys who really don't deserve it. But yeah, Patrick Williams has been really good. Pelicans dropped this one as Van Gundy got a little funky with the rotations, kind of kept Brandon Ingram and Lonzo Ball out of the game. Went with a little bit more of Josh Hart, who he loves, JJ Redick as well, because they were kind of making a run. But yeah, nothing really to read into that. And Zion's free throw is really costly here, 8 of 16. Missed some late. They could have probably had this game. 8 of 16, losing by a close margin definitely makes a difference. Steven Adams is horrible. Didn't really earn playing time. Billy Hernangomez has been playing pretty well. We know they're going to play with Zion at the 5 when they're trailing to get open shots and so on. But Zion, besides the missed free throws, man, I mean, he is just taken such a leap forward this year as being a multi-cat stud. Mavs get the win in a really ugly game, kind of a slugfest, just missing a bunch of shots here, 8 of 40 from 3. The Mavs were. Porzingis couldn't really capitalize without Luka. Jalen Brunson, not great. 11, 6, and 4, 2 steals, so he was fine. Josh Richardson picked up 4 steals. That's going to be really helpful for his value. And Tim Hardaway Jr. Everybody was cold. This game was pretty ugly, which was a really attractive game with Luka out. You'd think there'd be more value there, especially with the Mavs defense being bad too. Yeah, OKC, 78 points, and yuck. Shea, pretty quiet, 15, 3 and 3. They're on a back-to-back, so you assume Al Horford sits out there, so we'll get more Isaiah Roby in that action, and probably more Shea. Maladon, all these dudes. It's just, come on, man. How do you score 78 against Dallas? It's going to pull their defensive stats down nicely because they were one of the worst defenses in the NBA coming into this one. No, Clint Capella got kicked/stepped on his foot heel, and it was pretty painful according to Nate McMillan, so they kept him out. Danilo Gallinari, Red Rooster, goes off with 23, 9, and 6, 2 steals and a block. Fantastic play. I got him at about 8% on my single entries. I rolled him out there. He was awesome. Side note, I went to brunch way back in the day, pre-pandemic, and this lady called sriracha sauce Red Rooster sauce, and I always call it that now. It's like way too funny to me. Anyways, John Collins, really disappointing. He's really good center. Didn't have it. Herter, still playing pretty well. Nate McMillan figured out his rotations. But other than that, Trey came up big late too. No Evan Fournier, so the Human Torch, Terrence Ross gets 41 minutes, scores 28. Just killed it. Dwayne Bacon really quiet in his playing time. Vooch kind of comes through late, was really quiet on the glass with only 9, only had 6 for almost until the end, picked up 3 late ones. MCW finally kind of goes off here in a great matchup with 26 and 6, 2 steals and a block. So if you played him over Jalen Brunson, you made out. Only thing really relevant for the late games is that Kent Bazemore started for Kelly Oubre, who sprained his wrist and did not play. May miss today as well. So Bazemore's kind of a pick out. I put him on here for the ads list. Get into that. It's hard to call ads right now just because going into the All-Star break, I talked about stashes on the solo pod, so definitely check that out. It's pretty standard. If he's hurt, pick him up, especially Larry Nance, these other dudes. But Patrick Williams and Isaiah Roby are really the only 2 guys to me that strike me as pickups based on how they played. They're under-owned. Williams and Roby both are getting playing time, both earning it, and they both have upside. They both can produce defensive stats. So you like that. And also put Svi Mikhailuk on here. Back-to-back, probably gets more run again today. So that's it. Take care.